Hi, I'm Rachel. Here's Missy behind me on the bed. We'll see how this goes. And this is my author's answer video for April 2020. The author's answer series was started by J.D. Archer and his writing group, where they posed a bunch of reading and writing related questions to one another. And J.D. compiled a bunch of them on his own author's answers playlist on YouTube, which I'll link down below, as well as my own authortube playlist. I have been answering these questions sequentially for the past couple of years, and I am up to question 37, which is to talk about where you find your beta readers. So beta readers in the novel writing world, and maybe the nonfiction manuscript writing world, are readers who read said manuscript when it's in one of its final draft forms. And they provide one of the last rounds of edits for people before they query agents or otherwise go on to self-publish. I have only done this process so far for my literary fiction novella, and I used one resource which I got to from the Maryland Writers Association, where I am a member. I used their novel exchange email group, where I pitched my manuscript to try to find readers who might be interested. And I found a few. The rules of that email exchange are that it has to be a polished manuscript. And my readers got back to me with some of my thoughts, and I incorporated them into some of my later drafting. In this case, this seems relatively unusual because all of these people who were involved were writers themselves, that they joined the email exchange in order to get their own work critiqued. Although, technically speaking, I only returned the favor for one of my critique partners, and a couple months later I read her manuscript. But mostly we work on a pay-it-forward method. And I keep my eyes open for other people pitching manuscripts that might interest me to read and critique. This served me well for a literary fiction novella, and I'll also tout writing groups as a way to join a community of writers, which is particularly nice, I think, for people who don't write in the popular genres. I think you can find a much larger online community for that stuff, but if you are writing literary fiction or nonfiction, state-run or local-run writing groups might be the way to go. And could also be complementary for genre writers, because you'll find a whole bunch of writers in these types of writing groups. I myself am currently writing a fantasy novel, and I do think I will pitch it when it's ready through the email exchange, but I do think I will also branch out a little bit more because fantasy is so much more popular, and I do think it would be more possible to find a wider variety of beta readers like through Twitter, which I believe is a popular venue for that. Maybe this time I will find readers who are not also writers, because again, there's just a wider readership when it comes to fantasy, and people who might be eager to give their thoughts on works in progress. So yeah, that's about all I have to say about that, but as a caveat, the other day I was scrolling through BookTube and AuthorTube videos, as I do, and I came across a video of an AuthorTuber talking about how she uses Discord for her beta readers, and I'll link that down below. I was intrigued. At first I thought maybe she used the Discord chat program to find readers, but she uses it more as a platform for her readers, her beta readers, to congregate and give their thoughts on the different sections of her novel. And that got me to thinking. I don't really think that system would work for me personally for beta readers. The Discord chat room seems like more of a medium that would be appropriate for a critique group. So let me explain. Another venue I use for revising my work is critique groups. I belong to one that meets every couple of weeks usually, and we workshop each other's stuff piecemeal, and it's usually in a much earlier draft form. So the writing is still very nebulous, and we're still thinking out what we're doing with these stories, and in fact things might change pretty significantly further down the line. I guess I use this sort of critiquing kind of as what those in the biz might call a developmental editing process. We're still closer to the beginning stages than the ending stages, as it were. After this critique process, I revise and polish until I think the manuscript itself is pretty strong, and that's when I would invite in beta readers. And when it comes to beta readers, I want people's individual opinions. The beta reading experience should more closely mirror the traditional reading experience when you have a fully finished manuscript that you publish and send out into the world. And even though it's true that readers meet in book clubs or are influenced by Goodreads or BookTube, reading itself is still a pretty solitary experience. People form their own thoughts and opinions on what they read alone. And that's what I want the beta reading experience to be. I don't want people meeting in a chat room where the stronger voices might convince everyone else of what's working and what isn't. I want individual and differentiated opinions on what's working and what isn't. And afterwards, I'll be able to compare and contrast beta reader comments and perhaps do some final editing. So I'm really grateful for this video, even though I might disagree with the authortuber, because it helped me really solidify my own thoughts about what the beta reading process really means to me. So that about covers it for me now. Guess I'll join Missy in skedaddling from here. But I will be back in the coming days to do an end-of-the-month book haul. Even got a book in the mail today, huzzah, so stay tuned. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Keep writing, and I'll see you next time.